A beggar enters a cafe and asks the cafe worker if he can get something to eat and says that he also has money. The cafe worker tells him to keep his money. Then the cafe manager arrives and asks who allowed him to come inside. The manager says, "We do not need customers like you." The beggar says, "I have money." The manager mocks him and fixes a $100 slip. The beggar says, "This is injustice. Earlier, the amount was less, and now you have written more." The manager says, "We do not need your dirty money," and throws his money on the ground. The poor beggar collects his money and runs away. The manager tells the worker, "You have become very sympathetic," and asks why she let the beggar enter. The worker says, "I did not let him enter. He came in himself through the door." The arrogant manager says, "I do not want to see such customers again." The worker tries to speak, but the manager silences her immediately and says, "There is no need to argue with me." The worker says there will be no chance to complain again. After some time, the worker brings something in a box. The manager asks, "What is this?" The worker says it is cafe trash. The manager checks it and then tells her to take it away. The kind worker takes the cafe trash to a dustbin in the park and takes out the food box and wonders whom to give it to. On one side in the park, the same beggar is roaming and starts searching in the dustbin. The kind worker shows him the packed food. He is very hungry and quickly snatches the food and starts eating. The beggar asks, "Are you the same person I met in the cafe that day?" The kind worker nods. The beggar asks, "Should I pay for it?" The worker says, "No, there is no need. It was just lying useless in the cafe." The beggar says it is very delicious. "I have never eaten such food in my life," and thanks her, and also thanks God. The kind worker says she has work at the cafe and leaves the next day. The beggar waits at the same place for food. The kind worker again brings similar food for him. A woman from a distance records their video in the evening. The kind worker is writing cafe accounts. The manager comes to her and says, "I have video evidence that you are giving food to the poor." The kind worker says it is leftover food, so she gives it to the beggar, so it does not get wasted. The manager says, "I do not know anything. I just want the cafe accounts to be clear," and leaves. The kind worker sits holding her head and becomes very worried in the evening. The cafe owner arrives at the cafe. The manager says, "There was no need for you to come. You could have called me home." The cafe owner says, "I found out that you do not allow poor people to eat in the cafe even though they have money," and says, "Our cafe policy is that anyone who has money can come and eat at any time." The manager says, "Then rich people will not come." The cafe owner says, "I do not need them. Anyone who pays can eat." The manager makes excuses, but the cafe owner says, "I do not need an arrogant person like you in this cafe," and fires him the same day. Then the cafe owner calls the kind worker. The kind worker comes and says, "It is not my fault. Please forgive me." The cafe owner says, "There is no need to apologize. You are doing a very good job." The kind worker smiles. The cafe owner says, "From today, you will be the manager of this cafe." The worker says, "She cannot do this." The cafe owner says, "Do not think that. Because you are a woman, you cannot run this cafe, and I am sure you will do a better job than the previous manager." Hearing this, the worker is extremely happy and thanks her. God helps those who help others. If you like our video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.